Today is the day that loads of people have been waiting for in England. It's the 12th of April 2021, and this is when lockdown is finally easing in so many different parts of our lives. Today you can finally go to the gym, you can go to shops, you can eat outside in a group of 6, you can get your hair done, you can get your nails done. There are so many things that you can finally do today, and loads of people are really excited about it and have been counting down to this day for ages. However, I'm not gonna lie, I feel so funny about today and I just can't put my finger on it, but something just doesn't feel right, and I just wanted to make this video to talk about why I feel a little bit weird about today, how I feel about lockdown ending, and I know that a lot of you are also feeling in a similar way, so I thought it might be helpful just to talk through some of my feelings and some feelings that I've heard other people say, and kind of talk through why we might be feeling like this and what we can do to kind of help manage this throughout the next few weeks and months. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Radhika. I'm a junior doctor working in London, and I make videos about life as a doctor, what I get up to in my spare time, and everything else in between. So let's get into talking about why I feel weird about lockdown ending. I think the first thing, and probably one of the biggest things, is time. I've had so much time to myself, as we all have had. I've had to go to work, and then other than that, I've literally had all my spare time to focus on me, to focus on things I want to do, things I need to do, things like my YouTube channel, or talking at events, or looking after myself and sleeping and just doing things for me. And I feel that now lockdown's ended or ending, and there's all these other things we can do, that time is going to really be taken from me, probably unintentionally, and I will obviously be aware of it, but I will definitely lose time, and I really valued having all of that time. I'm just really aware that like plans will start to happen and people will start wanting to see me, which is also obviously really nice, and I want to see my friends and family as well, but the consequence of that is the lack of time that you now have, and I think we've all just been so used to having all of this time to ourselves and time to do what we want to do, and now that's going to be taken away in a way that, yeah, I feel like a bit aware of the lack of time I'm going to have in the future. So that's definitely one of the biggest things I am worried about. The next thing is change. We've been so used to this way of life. I know we had that little bit in the summer last year where it was fairly normal, but generally this is a really big change. The fact that we can now do all of these things, and the fact that we can see people and like go to the hairdressers and all these different things. It's a huge change from the last few months to year, and I think we all know that change is hard and it's always something that you need to adapt to, and I think I quite like things being the same. I don't like change too much, so I'm very aware that there's a big change happening, and it's kind of all in one day, which is a lot to me. It's not been a gradual thing, so I'm just very aware of the amount of change that's happening today and the amount of change that's going to be happening over the next few weeks. So that is another big one for me. The next thing is FOMO. I am already getting FOMO of things, like people have already gone to the gym and I'm like, oh my god, I haven't gone to the gym. And I already have FOMO of some of my work friends who are going to the pub tonight, but I said I wasn't going to go because there's other things I need to do and I need that time. But yeah, I think there's a lot of FOMO, and Instagram doesn't help with that. Like, I'm seeing people getting their hair done and I'm like, oh, I need to get my hair done. I feel this pressure and FOMO that I haven't had my hair done. And pressure is actually another thing that I wanted to talk about. I think during lockdown there's been so little that we can do that there's been no pressure to do other things. But now we can do things, now we can go to restaurants and we can go to the gym and we can get our hair done. I feel this kind of pressure that I should be doing these things as well, and that I need to kind of keep up and I need to be doing things that everyone else is doing. Even though in other videos I've talked about how it's been really nice to focus on me and do what I want to do, now that lockdown has ended, it's kind of like, okay, now there's this pressure to like go to the gym, whereas I couldn't go to the gym in the past few months. Or there's pressure that, okay, now I can get my hair done, I should probably go get my hair cut, or now I can get my eyebrows done, I should probably go get my eyebrows done, even though I've managed to go all these months without getting them done. So yeah, pressure, I definitely just feel this like FOMO of not doing things, and this pressure to be doing things that obviously wasn't there when lockdown was happening because you couldn't do them. I think another thing that people might be worried about is just generally socialising and seeing people again, and this is for a couple of reasons. It can be quite hard to be in a group and kind of remember that dynamic, and I know we're human and I know it's innate within us, but if it's been months and months and months where you've only been in the same house and you've only been seeing the same people, particularly if you've been working from home, it's quite tricky to remember how to kind of navigate being in a group and like not talking over each other and remembering how to communicate properly. Even little things, like I've been going to work obviously throughout all of lockdown, and even little things like people say how are you, and I forget that I should say I'm well thanks, how are you, and it's like I just say, oh, I'm good, thank you. And just little things like that I'm having to like remind myself to do as a normal human being. And I definitely understand that people who've been at home the whole time might feel even more anxious about interacting in a group or being out and about. I think another thing that people are obviously worried about is catching coronavirus itself, and the risk is still there. It's obviously a lot less than it was in January time, and the cases are far lower, but there's obviously still that risk, and particularly if you haven't had it or you haven't been vaccinated, there's going to be that concern of catching coronavirus, of potentially taking it home to your family. So there's that concern as well. I think there's a few different things that I'm going to try and do and that you can try and do to help manage this. The first thing is saying no to plans. If you don't feel like doing something, or you don't think you have the time to do something, or you're just not in the mood, say no. This is what I've done tonight. Like, all my work friends are going to the pub, and I did want to go, but I have to do other things that I've already said I would do for tomorrow and just generally in life, and I don't have the time, and I know if I went it would stress me out when I got back that I used that time elsewhere. So kind of say no to protect your own boundaries if you feel that you haven't got the time or the energy or even the mental headspace to do something. The second thing is to respect other people's boundaries and decisions and how they're feeling about lockdown and the easing of lockdown. Not everyone will want to do things at the rate that the government are advising, and not everyone will feel like doing things. So if your friends say, no, actually I don't really want to do that, or I don't feel in the mood, or I don't feel comfortable doing that, you need to respect that, and also expect that respect from your friends and loved ones as well, because we kind of all need to be understanding of each other's boundaries at the moment. Something someone told me that I found really helpful was that you don't have to go to how things were before, and I think this is a really important thing to remember. It's really easy to kind of feel that you need to go back to how we were before lockdown and to be doing all the things you were doing before lockdown, but it's been a whole year and things have changed, you will have changed, the pace of life that you want to live will have changed, and it's going to be quite hard to adjust and to get back to how you were last year. So just remember that you don't need to go to how things were before, and you're a different person now. It's been a lot of time, and you can make this a new way of how you want to live. You don't need to go to how it was before lockdown. And the last tip that my friend Ashlyn recommended to me is to make your own timeline of how you're coming out of lockdown, which is something I found really helpful. It doesn't actually need to be something that you actively plan, like how the government have given us dates, but go with how you feel. Trust your gut, trust your emotions and your inner self, what you actually feel comfortable doing and how you feel. Just because the hairdressers have opened today doesn't mean I need to go and get my hair cut. Or just because the shops have opened doesn't mean I need to go shopping. Make your own timeline and do things how you feel comfortable, and do it at the rate that you want to do things at rather than what everyone else is doing. So I think the phrase of making your own timeline really helped me just to kind of picture that in my head and feel comfortable of I'm going to focus on myself and what I want to do rather than what everyone else is doing and the rate that the government have advised. So those are some of my tips for lockdown ending and how I feel about it generally. It's a weird time, a really, really weird time. And I think we all know that the last year has been really weird, but I hope that just talking about this will help you feel a little bit more comfortable about how you might feel with lockdown. And everyone's got different feelings at the moment. No one feels the same about it. Some people are really, really happy. Some people feel a little bit iffy, which is me. And some people are kind of dreading it completely. And your feelings are valid, and if you don't feel right about it, then do speak to people and speak to your friends and family about how you're feeling, and they can hopefully help you as well, like talk through it and talk about how you're feeling and how you can manage that and how you can make your timeline coming out of lockdown. I hope you found this video helpful, guys, and I hope you do manage to do some nice things at your own rate now that lockdown is easing. Have a lovely week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!